The Publishing for Profit podcast is brought to you by Ghostwriters & Co. Earn more money by publishing better content and learn how to increase your thought leadership so you can build your brand. Head over to ghostwritersandco.com for more information. That's ghostwritersandco.com. And now, your host, Joel Mark Harris.
Hello, and welcome to the Publishing for Profit podcast. This is your host, Joel Mark Harris. As I record this, it is Canada Day. So happy Canada Day to all my Canadian viewers and listeners. Hope you had some time off from work. You got to spend some time with family or whatever you do on Canada Day. We have a very special guest on today, Avi Arya. He is a digital marketer. He owns a couple of boutique hotels in India. It's his family business. And these are two industries that have been hit really hard through COVID. So we talk about how he's pivoted, what he's doing now. Avi is primarily known for his Ask Avi show, which you can find on YouTube. It's a podcast. You can find him on social media like Facebook and Instagram. But now he is pivoted towards webinars, and now he's teaching businesses how to make money and how to profit from webinars. So we talk about that. We also talk about the heroic journey, what that is, how to create a hero story that your clients and your customers identify with, and how you can profit from that as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this wide-ranging conversation. Without further ado, we have Avi. Hello, Avi, and welcome to the show. It's a pleasure having you here.
It's a pleasure being back with one of my oldest digital marketing friends from Vancouver. We met ages ago when digital was still coming off the scene. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, and we haven't been in contact for a while, so it's definitely great to reconnect. And I've obviously been following you online and seeing all the great things you've been doing, and they've been amazing. So congratulations.
Thank you. The Lord above has been kind, and we've got a good team. And like you said, we were able to be consistent for the last year at least.
Awesome. So I want to start with somebody who I believe has had a lot of influence on you, and that's Gary Vanderjagt, who is also known as Gary V. For those who don't know, he is a social media influencer. He runs his own digital marketing company. But can you tell me, like, how has he influenced your life and your path that you've taken?
So, that's that's a great question. I love to talk about Gary because so I travel back and forth between Vancouver and wherever I would find business. And I started listening to this guy's story, and he said that he was working with his father. And, when you're working with your father, some things, you saw eye to eye, sometimes not, but he stuck, to his work ethic. And then he started his own agency. So I was like, hang on, working with your father, having those daddy-daughter, daddy-father, daddy-son conversations. And then I'm starting a digital marketing agency is exactly my trajectory. So, my dad lost everything in his business when I was growing up, and I thought I'm going to go abroad. My only dream in life was to study abroad because I wanted to meet people from all over the world, and I wanted to race cars. I thought maybe I'll work for somebody, and somebody will sponsor the tires, and somebody will. I was getting it all set in my 18-year-old head. And one day, all the dreams came crashing down when my dad called me to his office, and he said, "Son, I have news for you. You lost everything, and I got a small motel. Start working with me." And then my journey started. Discovered the internet. In a nutshell, it completely changed our life in 5 years. And then I was known as the guy who did something with the internet and changed his father's. We were able to pay off all the debts, and we bought another hotel. Now, I was not really talking about that story a lot because I didn't want to talk about my dad being in debt and I lost my dreams and I wanted to pick up. I was not talking about it. And then I see this guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. He talks about the fact that they had no money and these were challenges that he went through and all of that, and then how he came to his agency. I was like, this guy talks about what happened in his life. So I started talking about that. As soon as I started talking about it, I started seeing, people started gravitating towards me. It also started helping my business. And I was like, I owe it all to this guy who indirectly urged me to start telling my story. So then I was like, he's no longer a celebrity in my head. I want to be friends with this guy. So it was a December in Vancouver, and we were sitting and we were doing a goal setting. And I always believe you do goal setting with your spouse and your kids, because when people do goal setting and the spouse is like, maybe my wife wants to do something different, I want to do something different, and how will visualization, how will that all come to be if you're all going in different directions? So we had four large chart papers. It was a nice snowy, not a nice snowy, but a snowy day in Vancouver, and we were making a chart and everything. And I said, meet Gary Vaynerchuk 2000, whatever the year was, the next year. My wife is like, hey, why are you putting it for the next year, the year after? Why not? I said, the next year is just a few days away. She said, so what? I said, I'm supposed to fly to India. She said, so go meet him on the way and then go. I'm like, you mean Gary Vaynerchuk is going to meet me just because I want to meet him? I'll take a detour. She said, at least try. We're visualizing and we're doing dream charts and goal setting and all of that. So I said, yeah, why not? I mean, she's right. So I wrote it down, and then I went out and I took out my phone and I started making videos. Called up my team. I said, let's do some bit of a research. And how many people want Gary to come to India? We said, what should we do so that to meet somebody, you need to add value to their lives. I knew that Gary has been contemplating coming to India. Should I come? Should I not come? So I thought maybe that. So I told my team, I said, can you do a research? Is somebody from our team traveling? They said, yeah, there are 3, 4 people who are traveling to different parts of the country. I said, just tell them to do a survey. If Gary Vaynerchuk comes to India, will you come out and all of that? So they all went and they did it. They sent us videos. We put those videos together. We put a nice clip, and we sent that clip to one of Gary's team members, and he was like, "This is amazing. You must come to meet Gary. You must come to the VaynerMedia office." And then another story started from there. So so yeah. So in a nutshell, that's how, because the story was relatable to mine with his dad and the agency, and because he's like, tell people your story, tell people your story. And when I told the story, this thing's really changed my life. Like every day I tell a story. I tell people every single day. If I meet 10 people on the phone or a Zoom call, I tell them, hi, my name is Avi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. And I help people run profitable webinars sitting at home without having to travel. Now, because I believe the shortest distance between two human hearts is a story, and a story well told on the internet can completely change your brand. So, I took from him, and obviously I improvised and made it different. And now I teach people storytelling and webinars, but I owe it all to this man who, and then I was able to meet him, 3, 4 times, and we did a lot of podcasts and webinar, YouTube shows and all of that. So yeah, all that for Gary Vaynerchuk. Full marks
I,
to the guy for inspiring so many people.
I want to push back because I don't think you owe it all to him, because I think you are a very, you're a great entrepreneur. You hustle, you you're a man of action, I think. And so uh, all the teaching and all the learning in the world, it won't do anything unless you go out and do it. And so you have the, you were inspired to go out and do it. So I think that you are obviously a big part of your own success, is I guess
Thank you.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
um so what, if you can, I guess, put it all together and give maybe like just a couple tips or a couple things that you learned from him, what would those be?
Number one, when he was with me, I felt like the most important person in the world. And while I was feeling like the most important person in the world, I am asking myself, while I'm excited and feeling overwhelmed with all the support that he gave me in terms of all the advice that I asked for. Back of my head, there's a conversation happening. I said, hang on, this guy's like a million people who want to meet him, and he's sitting with me. There are 30 people waiting outside, and look at the calm on his face. And that sort of humbled me more. After that, every time I've met any other human being, I've been more present in that meeting. So that's number one that he said to me. Number two, what he said was that the second thing that I learned from him was, like you just correctly said, more action leads to more results. right? I mean, sometimes you're tired, you want to take a couple of days off just because then also you're preparing for action. Or sometimes there's lots of we eat and then we digest. So when you're digesting, doesn't mean you're not doing anything, right? So information is being digested, so you're doing that work as well. So every time I listen to him, I feel there can something more can be done. Don't just give up yet. Something more can be done. So that's the second thing I learned from him. Third thing I learned from him was that he has been consistent for the last 10 years interviewing people on his podcast till date because he knows that he needs to make connection with the top people. Even though the whole world wants to meet him, he still wants to make connections with the Jessica Albas and all of those people of the world. So as he's becoming bigger and bigger, he's not changed his path. He keeps his basics intact. Like you go to the gym, you do your pull-ups and your push-ups, and you have a great body. You're doing your calisthenics and you do your CrossFit, but you still don't forget your push-ups and your basic workout. So those are the three things I learned from him.
So I'm doing something right with this podcast, is what you're saying.
100%.
Good. So I'm going to take you back. When you went into your family business of hotels, what was that like? Was it tough trying to fill such big shoes?
So my dad did not have hotels. He had just one small motel, a 27-room motel, which was under debt, and some rooms were leaking, and some rooms were broken, and so we could never hire out all 27 rooms together because we had to take furniture from here, put it there, and we were making things work. But because my dad was he was such a he loved he loves his customers even to date. So everybody felt warm and welcome, and so the hotel was doing well. The challenge I had was that all of a sudden, from wanting to become a street car racer, I used to be very good at racing cars, and I thought, and I'm very good at meeting people, and I love talking to people, and I'm genuinely my mother's son, and I genuinely like people, and I'll never forget a birthday, and I'll never, if you're not well, I'll be the first person to land up with a soup in your, to your doorstep, or leave it outside in today's times, and I'm saying it because all my mom has given me that. But here, in this situation with the hotel, everything changed. I didn't know where to put my empathetic side. I didn't know where to put that streetcar. I had to build my own image in my own head while going to sleep every night with that conversation that I hear from my dad saying, "Oh, we don't have money. We don't have money. We don't have money. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And we need to work harder. And why are you working only 12 hours a day? Why don't you, work 14 hours? Or why don't you sleep in the hotel? Why do you come home?" Like my dad was like, I said, "You're such a slave driver." But obviously I learned everything from that. Like today I don't get tired, and I think what work is. It's 12 hours of work. If I get tired, if I have to push harder, that's the easiest thing for me to do. Thinking and other parts are something that I'm learning, strategic thinking, but pushing harder, 12 to 14 hours or 15 hours, that seems to be the easy thing for me to do. So everybody teaches you something. But to answer your question directly, the big shoes to fill were to say the elder son of the house has to take over and contribute. Now, I wanted money to go out with my friends on over the weekends. Just because we lost everything, I still had friends from well-to-do families, and they would still go out to restaurants, which I wanted to go out with them, and that costs money. And now I'm working, so I did want to spend a little bit of that money, to have fun and not just keep saving money to pay off the debt. So, it was a bit of a struggle for me to understand what I should do. But as soon as I discovered this new phenomena called the internet, everything changed. Sorry, did we lose the internet? Yeah, we're back.
I
So
think
as soon as
I
we
think we're back.
discovered
Yeah.
new phenomena called the internet, everything changed for me. There was an ad in the paper one day called Satyam Computers looking for cyber cafe partners, and I was looking for an internet connection. And I reached out to this guy. His name was Rohit, and I called up Rohit. He's still a friend of mine after 22 years. I called up Rohit. I said, "I need the cyber cafe." He said, "Do you know what a cyber cafe is?" I said, "I've been studying this for the last 1 year. I know I need it." I gave him the plan of my dad's small motel. He gave us a cyber cafe with 6 computers. And after that, Joel, I had 24-hour access to the slowest internet on the planet. I would open a page, go for lunch, come back, the rest of the page would open. But I knew that I had a power. I had a superpower that I could now connect with people from different parts of the world. And those people were, I have a hashtag in my office and in my dad's office as well, which says hashtag people are good. People are always good. They're always there. Maybe they're busy sometimes. Maybe they get back to you later. Maybe they forgot to reply to your email. Maybe they had somebody was unwell. People are good. I reached out to people. I said, what should I do? They said, somebody said, develop a website. The other person said, do a query form, put a toll-free number, get your SEO done. Nothing I understood. But found places, found people, developed a website, did all of this, took another 1 year of this uncertainty. That also taught me how to live being uncertain as a youngster who's trying to fill in shoes, be, show his parents he can do something, prove to himself that all is not lost while trying to make things happen. So when you're in that uncertain environment early in your age, then when you look back, even now in these uncertain times, you're like, hang on, oh, this is a pattern. It's never forever. You don't allow your mind to say, this is the end. So I'm grateful to all of those uncertain times in my life that allowed me to essentially rebuild our business based on the internet. And we, paid off the debts, and we built from one guest house. We had two beautiful, like if I'll say it with all humility, we have two of the most well-known boutique hotels in the country that we run with pride, and yeah. And with the story with this story.
Have you always had a entrepreneurial spirit, and and if so, did that come from your father?
No, I was 118 kilos. I used to stammer. So ideally, I should have been an introvert, and I should not have gotten out of the house much, because every time that I did try to make new friends or get into new things and have any kind of spirit, it was trampled upon because of my weight and because I couldn't put two sentences together because I used to stammer. So no, I don't think I had that spirit initially, because I just wanted to eat lots of chocolates. That's why you see my eyes lit up when you said your wife does the chocolate business. I just wanted to eat lots of chocolates, watch lots of movies, and maybe race cars because I don't want to move so much, when you're racing. So no, I didn't have that spirit. But when we lost everything and dreams were shattered at an early age, and then I see my mom and my dad both working so hard till date, even now, like an hour back, I met my parents and just thinking about how to revive their business and all of that. So at the age of 70 and 75. So I've always seen them, you haven't really, I mean, you haven't worked hard enough. So, or you haven't thought things through. Either think of a plan, and when you've thought of a plan, then go execute the plan. I don't understand why. So in our on Joel at our dinner tables, we've never been allowed to crib. Cribbing has never been allowed. Say, can you replace that with going back to the office? So you come back at 8 o'clock and crib. You'd rather stay in the office till 12 o'clock and work out the solution. So that spirit came from both of them for sure.
And how has that served you through COVID and all these challenging times?
So like I was, mentioning earlier, thank God, and I say this with all humility and thank you to God, universe, whoever's out there I always say that you need to be very mindful of the people you're surrounding yourself with. Because if there are people who like, what, the world is coming to an end and all of that, some of my good friends or some of my cousins or whatever, I mute them on the WhatsApp. You can mute that notification because, it affects me. So I don't want to. So when COVID happened, obviously the hotel business, took a beating. The agency of mine, which I built from scratch. This was my first venture on my own. I've run it for 10 years. And all of a sudden the agency business paused. And I was like, it was very surreal. But for the last 1 year, I developed a new coaching program on how people can use videos and start super profitable webinars without having to travel. You met my family. I want to be home. I don't want to travel so much away from Vancouver. So I developed this program only so that parents and entrepreneurial parents or parents who are entrepreneurs can stay close to their families and work from home with their webinar setups and all of that. So I was teaching people and I said, I promised myself on the 1st of Jan, 52 weeks, 52 webinars. And that was my work ethic plan. And this is what I've done. So we were already teaching people that when COVID hit and I saw both my, hotel and agency businesses, take a nosedive. From the very next day that we moved our offices, we shut down our offices and moved everything to people's homes. And I moved my office to my house. In the last 75 days, we've done 75 webinars. So we went all in on what we were, thinking would be a another business of ours. It just became full. So again, that work ethic of saying, hey, if you can work harder, then that should be the easier thing to do, right? So that same thing comes back to me. So if you say that, working 40, so my challenges are not working 12, 14 hours a day. My challenges are, if something is broken, how to look at it differently, how to look at it from a different strategic view. So my thinking, I need to take time off, focus, my mind goes all over the place. Those are my challenges. Working like a horse is not a challenge for me right now.
I think what you just said is super important. I just want to reiterate it a little bit, is that you can work hard, but also what's important is looking at these challenges from a different perspective and seeing things from a different lens. Because if you keep running through the same challenges and you keep I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they keep kind of hitting their heads against the same wall, and they don't look at these challenges differently. So I think that's a really important point that you just mentioned. So I just wanted to make sure that was not lost in all this great content that you're providing. Um, so I want to go back to your streetcar racing days. And was that something that you grew up doing, and how did that become such a passion of yours?
No, so my dad, I mean, we never came from a very well-to-do family. We were okay. We were absolutely fine. I mean, I didn't feel the need for anything, but at the same time, we couldn't buy everything. So it was pretty okay. And my dad had a very ordinary car, and he used to go to sleep, and I used to take his car out on neutral gear and go race with people in the streets, and and then I started betting on those races, and I said, $5 or whatever, 500 rupees or 200 rupees for a race. And so I was like, this is fun. And then I researched, and there are people said that there are companies who allow you to go for Himalayan rallies, or and then sponsor your car and all of that. So I started getting those forms together, who's going to sponsor my tires, how this is going to happen. Started learning more about this, started hanging out with other people who were professional racers. And I used to actually go and spend time in garages where people were fixing race cars and getting them ready for, like a Himalayan rally race or whatever. And one day I remember going to my mom and I took a form. I said, I got a form. Guess what? I don't have a car yet, but somebody's ready to sponsor my tires. And I'll figure out the car part from somebody else. But can you sign this? She just saw this. And Himalayan Rally is on the mountain cliffs and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
She saw the form and she just tore it apart. And she's like, this is not happening. So that was my first. That was the first time that I could, my parents told me very clearly, you can't do this. It's not safe. And the second time was that life happened and I couldn't do it. So that's
Did
why you see every time I've got a jacket from the last 20 years, every time I've got a jacket with my favorite number that I used to put on the car. I wanted to put it on the car, which I never had. And so in my head, I'm a streetcar racer. And yeah.
did your dad let you take the car out, and did he know what you were doing?
No, never. So one day what happened was that he got a call from somebody saying that your son has crashed the car and the tire has come out or something. I came home and I was like, I'll get it fixed. My dad is like, I told him, I said, I crashed the tire and it's going to be okay. And he said, you're lying to me because I've got the keys under my bed. I said, yeah, but I got a duplicate made. So, so yeah, he didn't know that. He would never allow it.
So how did you go from streetcar racer, which is primarily thought of, I guess, like a jock sport type with the gambling and all the, I guess, lifestyle that comes with it, to an internet marketer? Because I
So
mean, I
like I
think
said,
that's quite different.
of course. Yes and no. You can find analogies or parallels in anything that you want if you go looking for it. But the thing was that for me, obviously at that age, the need for speed and the need for, I mean, I like to see what's under the car, what's under the hood. And I was not really a crazy racer, but I just liked cars a lot. But then everything changed in my life, and my dad said, you have to start working with me. Otherwise, this only way out, other option is get out of the house and all of that. So he gave me that ultimatum: stop because I used to come back late at night and, not pay attention to my studies and all of that. So he said, either you work with me or get out of the house. So when I started working with him, I discovered this new phenomenon called the internet, and we started ranking web. I had no idea what I'm doing, and somebody said, rank a website, write an article, put in these keywords. I was doing all of that, and we started ranking. I'm talking about 99, 98, 2000, 2001. It used to take a week to rank any keyword. Hotels in Delhi, Delhi hotels, five-star hotels in Delhi, boutique hotels in Delhi, hotels near the airport. I was ranking on every single keyword in at least five position on every page. Like I was dominating search results because nobody was doing it. It was maybe a Marriott or a Hilton, maybe a Thomas Cook from it, but there was no Indian company who was doing this thing called SEO. So I was the first mover by far, and so that's how I got into it, and that completely changed our business. By the end of 2005, I had 120 plus websites. All of them were not doing well, but I had Tourism India, Tourism Delhi, Tourism Rajasthan, Tourism Kerala, Tourism Goa, India, cheap air tickets, India, cheap air. So I had all sides of websites. I was trying to rank all of them. Only four of them did well, but they were giving me excellent profits, like almost to the tune of maybe $2,000 a day in net profit back then. So all of these things, the internet gave me back my self-confidence, gave me a standing in my own family and a standing in the society. So that's then internet and whatever I could discover from the internet became my identity. And then in 2009, when people said, "Why don't you do this for us?" and I'm like, "No, I'm doing this for my own family business and my own travel websites." So they said, "Can you do it for us?" That's when in 2009 I started a digital marketing agency called Internet Moguls with a 4-member team. And that's when I separated, businesses from my dad. And I said, you know, I, we live in the same house, so we have some common things together. But in terms of the business, no money, no funding, nothing. I started on my own with a 4-member team and bootstrapped the agency from day one. Never borrowed, never went to the. I mean, we tried to get money, nobody gave it, but but we've been profitable from day one and ran the agency from 4 to 225 pre-COVID. After COVID, there'll be a different number for sure. And yeah.
And so how did you learn all? Because I mean, SEO is very technical, and it's not. I think it's so easy to learn now because now you just go on YouTube and you watch a couple of YouTubes and then you're an
Exactly.
SEO expert. So how did you learn back then?
So I used to go to forums. There were Yahoo forums, and Yahoo was basically the main forum, and started meeting people over there. And then we made a small community of about 10 people in India who knew what we were talking about. And we used to talk over email, and we made a chat group, and that's how we started. We just experimented. Honestly, I still date don't have a step-by-step guide for anybody. I experiment and things work out, and some do, some don't. Like I said, last COVID, 75 days, 75 webinars. I grew my email list to 150,000 subscribers. My followers went up by 40,000. So, and my Facebook group is now 27,000 people who know me. These are not people who just came into the
Wow.
group 24 for 2 hours. So these are people who really know me. So now today, when somebody says how to create a brand in under 3 months, I'll tell them, if you're ready to work hard every day, I'll tell you that webinars can change your life. So now my new mission is to teach everybody how to do webinars to grow their brand, to get leads, to become famous on the internet, and to be able to make money without having to leave your house and stay away from your family like I did for the longest time. It's all about webinars for me now.
So if I want to start, I guess, promoting myself, through social media or webinars, um, what are a good couple first steps to take?
Excellent question, Joel. So I always say that three steps. Number one, discover your micro niche. Number two, become a video influencer in that niche. And number three, start your webinar journey. And I'll tell you how that works. A lot of people think that we know what we're doing, and that's fine. But people have no idea, even after 10 years of me in a business, maybe somebody doesn't, and that is criminal. People should be, a 5-year-old child should be able to explain to anybody what you do. So instead of saying I'm a digital marketer, I will say, Joel, I help authors like you find business on the internet in using webinars. How do you do that, Avi? Well, as soon as I got you to a how, that means I'm now on well on my way of getting the your business. If I meet a travel agent, and I work with travel agents as well, so I'll say I help travel agents find queries to sell their tour packages without having to travel using webinars. So I need to be able to tell people in a short format. Now that I'll go a little deeper into that. A story and then an offer. So what is the story? My name is Avi Arya, father of two girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls, and I help small and medium-sized businesses find their customers using webinars without having to travel. Okay, so that is some. Why did I talk? I spoke about my wife, superwoman. I spoke about my kids. I spoke about my dog. I spoke about my company. Because when two human beings meet at an airport, at a railway station, at a coffee shop, we are always trying to find common ground. It's like it's like you and I meet for the first time. Your internet antenna goes up, mine goes up, and we're trying to find common ground. Oh, were you born in London? No, not London. Have you ever been to London at least? Yeah, I've been to London. Oh, did you go to the Trafalgar Square? Not Trafalgar Square, but you at least had the Guinness beer from London. So we somewhere connect. Or is your mother born from this part of the world? Or did you go to UBC as well? We are always trying to find common ground, and that's when the relationship is built, and then that's when we do business. But on the internet, when people have very little time, the shortest way to explain and make that relationship is through what I call the hero story. My name is Avi Arya, father of two girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, streetcar racer, turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. I help small and medium-sized entrepreneurs find their clients using webinars without having to travel. So that's the first part, connection through stories. Number two is, like I said, what can I help you with? So I can help. So if I'm going for an author's meet, like an author like you, or a content person like you, I'll say I help content people find content gigs using webinars without having to travel or do any PPC ads or Facebook ads. You'll at least ask me how. So that's the second part. Third, then I say become a video. Once you found your niche, who am I and how do I position myself? So I say, my name is Joel, and I help digital marketers get all their content done by the 20th of the month and delivered to their clients. Now you made it so specific. Like, how do you know as a digital marketing agency, I need my content to be going on time and it's always late? How did you know that I need it on the 20th and nobody understands it? They all give it to me on the 30th because you've researched one niche and now you know the problems of that niche, right? So when you say that, I know you know my pain as a digital marketer. So one is the story. Second is the offer. Third is become a video influencer in your niche. So I always tell people every day go live and answer people's questions around your topic, even if there are two people coming in. Every single day, do it for 28 days. In 28 days, you will become the go-to in your small niche. For example, if I service say content writers, or you service digital marketing agencies, in that niche you're answering people's questions every day. In 28 days you become a video influencer in your niche. Hey, this guy talks about content for digital marketers. So you become, and then you continue it after 21 days, 28 days as well. So once you do that, it's like, oh, but you know what, I have only 200 followers. How am I a video influencer? I'm saying a video influencer in your own niche. Those 20 people are enough to feed your business for the entire year. That's all you need sometimes. So video influencer in your own niche. Third part is when it comes to marketing, and I always tell people, start a webinar, get the first 50 people in, give them enough value, and then don't sell anything if you don't have anything to sell right then. Just book appointments. Out of those 50 people, maybe 25 will stay till the very end. Out of those 25, if you get 5 appointments, five 30-minute consultations by working on a 90-minute webinar, sitting at home, that is the best use of your time. Do a webinar, do a webinar every single day. I've done 3 webinars a day as well, because for me, I'm trying to tell entrepreneurs, think of webinars as meetings. You never said, oh, I can't do more than one meeting a day. Then why can't you do more than 3 webinars a day, or do at least a webinar a day? So number one is the hook story of your story, and then your offer, become a video influencer, and then then actually go out, do your first free webinar, give them a free piece of information, and then book calls with them. And you see that it completely changes the way people approach you. And you're sitting at home, you can work half the time if you do it efficiently.
So much great information there. One thing that really stuck out for me was that people are always, they're looking at numbers, like how many likes I like, and or how many likes do I have, how many views have I got. But I think what you said about sometimes only 200 people, if you only have 200 people but those are your ideal clients, that's all you need. You don't need to keep going out and trying to get more likes, views, or whatever, comments. It's about servicing the target market. So I think that was what really stuck out for me. And I think that's, again, something that is
Gary Vaynerchuk was
reiterated.
interviewing I saw one of Gary's videos, and he was speaking at an event, and there was this one gentleman who spoke about his business, and Gary was saying something about, and this guy said, I've got 20,000 YouTube subscribers. No, I've got 2,000 YouTube subscribers, and all of them are my target audience. I help them, and I make $200,000 a year from that business. It's happening all over. I feel, Joel, a lot of people want more and more followers, and they go there because sometimes as human beings we're scared of actually asking for the sale. So I don't want to ask for the sale. I keep telling myself, oh, let me get more followers. You have two people in front of you. Make sure both of them come and work with you. Give them an offer, give them a money back guarantee, give them a first month free. Try my offer, see what I can do for you. There's so many ways that you can get money today.
Can you tell me a little bit more about how do I discover my hero story, as you call it? Because I mean, I'm just like a regular guy. There's nothing special about me. I grew up in Vancouver, lived here my entire life. What are some things that you listen for that you can say, yes, that's part of your hero story?
I love that. Almost nobody's asked me that question. How do you define a story? And in fact, the webinar, we teach that as the first part. Because, so I'll tell you this. Number one, and I owe it to my teachers. I went to New York Film Academy to study filmmaking, and this was one of my script writing teachers who taught me a part of what I'm going to tell you now. The first thing that Johnny Depp or Sylvester Stallone or any of these big actors, they too need, not, they're big stars, but we still don't go to their movies unless we like the trailer. And the trailer has to be solid for us to say, okay, here's my $10, right? Just $10, but I still, that they have to sell it to me. So what I'm going to do is, sorry, yeah. So number one, a hero has to be relatable. A hero or a heroine of a story has to be relatable. And so therefore, please take off that mask of how I want to show up. Instead, say that I used to stammer and I couldn't put two sentences together. Talk about the fact that I was 118 kilos, and when I got out of the house and I tried to get into a game of cricket, people ridiculed me and threw me out of the field not once, 10 times in a row. And I was always a tall and large man. It was difficult for me to cry, but I did cry because I had no other option. This was happening too often. And Joel, I didn't have the guts to talk like this 100 years ago, but now I do, because of two reasons. I'm 44 years old and I've gone through it doesn't bother me as much. The other thing is, I know when I say it, other people get inspired to share their stories as well. So share your story, be vulnerable, because the hero is somebody who's exactly like you and me, having all these challenges, is a normal person. And then all of a sudden, we talk about a hero and his values. I say, my father of two girls, 6 dogs, husband, superwoman. My mom and dad were entrepreneurs. They taught me to work 12 hours a day. And then what happens? In your life, a challenge happens. Now the whole world waits and sees, is this guy going to succumb, or is he still going to uphold his values and virtues? And if you do, throughout your challenges, that's when the world says, you're a hero. You never call yourself a hero. The world calls you a hero. So look at any mini incidents in your life when this happened with you. When you went through challenges and you came out, and it came out doesn't have to be where I came out and I got a Ferrari, or I came out and now I'm a rich man. When you just got out of that situation and you said, I was going to Starbucks the other day and It was really cold. It was so difficult to walk in that cold. I just barely made it to the Starbucks, got a coffee, ran back in, and I sat in my car and I'm like, oh my God. And I was feeling really rotten inside because I saw a beggar on the street and I ignored the beggar because I was like, it's too cold. I was like, I should not have done that. My mom has not brought me up to, get something from a coffee shop just for myself. Now that meant I needed to go back into that coffee shop and brave the winter, which I did. I got a sandwich for the gentleman, and I came out and gave him the sandwich. Came back in. That's it. End of story. A story is who I am, my values. I came through a challenge, and then what happened. So always look back at your life and say, what were my most vulnerable states? What happened then, and what did I come through? That's number one. That's number one. Always remember, a good story is your authentic story of who you are, which is, like you said, a regular guy. We're all regular people. Number one. Number two, you talk about, now the thing is, the story has to relate to the other person. So then it has to have an offer. So my dad also all threw me out of the house. I was wanted to throw me out of the house. This thing happened. Discovered the internet. Realized that as the elder son in an Indian family, I have my own responsibilities. Worked hard. Luckily, discovered the internet. Understood it. Worked very hard. Learned. Completely changed the way the business happened. And now, because of that experience, Joel, I can help you run your digital marketing. Because an eventual customer, a story is a story. Till it reaches a customer is always saying, while you're telling a story, and while he's saying, oh, how sweet, how beautiful, oh, it touches my heart, there is a signal in his brain which is saying WIIFM. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? So you need to connect your story with what's in it for him. You say, so because I was able to do this for my dad, I became an internet marketer. I started my own agency, and today I can help you. So instead of saying, if I came to you and said, Joel, I'm an internet marketer. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've got 18 awards for my digital marketing. You'll be like, how do I get this guy off the phone? But if I tell you a story of how I came about doing my digital marketing, you will never forget the story. And I'll tell you how I came about doing this. Now you'll be like, very interesting. You'll at least never forget my name and my story. And that's when the aim of a good story in a business context is to get to the next question, which is like, to answer that question, what's in it for me? I should be able to answer that question, say, for you, Joel, I can do this. So those are some of the ingredients of a good story.
I think that's super important. And what you said about people remembering stories is really bang on, because you're right. People don't remember, like how many awards they won or what clients necessarily they had, but they remember, oh, that's the guy who he owned a hotel and turned it into a digital marketing agency, and whatever that story is, right? So I want to go back to videos for a little bit. Is it as simple as just turning on your cell phone camera? Is there any equipment that you need to use, or what should you think about when you're shooting video?
See, the thing is, the first day you go to the gym and you want to get in shape, just start going to the gym. Go for a run, hang out with your buddies, play squash, do whatever you want. Start going to the gym. You'll figure it out. That's what I always say. But and especially today's day and age, when it comes to videos, all you need is a smartphone. Pick it up, put it right in front of you. Make sure the light is and the audio is good. Only because you want to respect the time of the audience when you're giving a message. So in terms of equipment, you need nothing else. The best YouTube channels in the world and the best Netflix documentaries today are going to be shot on these smartphones. So we don't need to overthink, think that I need a better camera when the best of the best. All you need is a good story, and you need a good storyteller. You all this is ancillary, right? Number one, when you do start a video, then I do have a few suggestions, because people don't have time. You start a video by saying, in this video, you're going to learn about how Joel, can help you get your content ready for the entire 30 days in less than 3 hours. So you tell me initially in the first 5 seconds why I should watch this video. Then you say, Then you come with your hero story. My name is Joel Mark Harris. I look like a regular guy, but I'm Vancouver's best looking content writer. And I go for my BNI conferences at 6 o'clock sharp. I never miss it. I'm always there. That talks about my ethic. And I've got 200 of my family members who meet me every 6 o'clock. So if you happen to cross by downtown Vancouver, whatever. So the, what are you going to say in the video? Then your story. And then instantly jump into the three things that you're going to teach. So you said, I'm going to help you design your 30-day content in less than 3 hours. So what is the strategy? Secret number one, always, whatever is your secret number one. Then you give your secret number two. Then you give your secret number three. And then summarize. So in this video, you learned about secret number one, secret number two, secret number three. And this is how you can do your 1 month content in 3 days, right? Once again, my name is Joel Mark Harris. I'm the best looking content writer in Vancouver. Meet me at the 6 o'clock BNI every Tuesday. I've got 100 family members. If you like this video and would like me to send you a free PDF of how you or your team can also plan their and thank you very much for watching this video. So when you give somebody that free PDF guide, they've given you their email address or their phone number. So there's a subscribe to your knowledge and information. So that's how you get people into your subscription list. You keep building, nurturing a relationship, and that's you take it then to another level. So, but you asked me a question, how easy it is to make videos. Do you need equipment? I said, forget about the equipment. Focus on this process. The first 5 seconds, what are you going to find in this video? Then talk about your story. Then give the 3 steps. Then at the end of the 3 steps, summarize it, talk about your story again, and then give a free offer, PDF, whatever, and that's it.
Thank you for the compliments, by the way. That was very nice. So social media, let's talk about social media a little bit. It can be a little bit overwhelming. Is there some, you mentioned that you mute your WhatsApp chats, and how do you stay on top of things yet don't let it overwhelm you?
So I've got 2 phones, and on one phone, I've got only my family members and some of my friends who I just have a good time with. And on the other phone I've got 3 Facebook groups. One is for digital agency owners, the other is for webinars, the third is for for social media. So I go there every morning. I answer a few questions, and I put in a post of the day which is informative, or I do a live video which is informative, so that when people get up and start coming to the group, they're like, oh, I remember. That's why I joined Avi's group, because every day he motivates me to keep being consistent, and he also gives me ways and means to do webinars to make money. So because that's the promise of the group, I go and fill up that group every day with my promise. So it takes me about an hour, do the posts that I'm supposed to do. if if I have time in the evening, I'll go live and take a few questions again. So at best it takes an hour or two to engage with people, and I say, give me a week, I won't get back to you instantly. Earlier on it was like, oh my god, I need to get back to people in time. Now I'll give me a week. But you make a community so that other people can respond faster than you, and people can help each other. So I'm not overwhelmed anymore because of that. And when I do get overwhelmed, when I go out for a dinner or whatever, I leave my work phone at home and I take my other phone with me.
So should people be looking at sort of the new social media platforms like TikTok? Like, how do you think about, or how should businesses think about the different platforms?
Interestingly, today, because of the India-China standoff at the border,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
TikTok is banned in India today. It's a big
Yes.
news. So anyway,
So you don't have to worry about TikTok anymore.
I don't have to worry about TikTok for a while, I think.
Yeah.
But see, I'll tell you one thing. I think less than 10%, I'm not sure, but less than 10% people make more than $100,000 a year. And $100,000 is a beautiful income in a nice place like Vancouver, to have a nice life, balanced life. You can travel. You don't need to go crazy running around 20 hours a day. And you can do easy $100,000 by selling your products or your services, by focusing on just 1 or 2 channels, like could be a Facebook group. I love Facebook groups, and a YouTube channel. Answer people's questions on YouTube every single day. Create a Facebook community, answer their questions every day. Within less than a year's time, 365 days, you would have answered 10 to 15 questions least 365 people and got them from point A to point B. There will be enough business that you can do just on the basis of these two channels. Yes, I have a content calendar plan where I say remarket everything, put something from here, post it over there. I can tell you that as well. But the first part was you can do it without going crazy. Just two channels, answer people's question. But let me give you a more aggressive plan. And I call it the MVM, which is our program, MVM turner wheel system. How do you turn the wheel? Avi, you know what? My business, I'm not able to turn the wheel. So we call it the MVM turner wheel system. You could call it the wheel turner system as well, but we said turner wheel so that people remember it when it's a bit of a tongue twister or a. So a turner wheel system, we say every day, 11 o'clock, go live, put a poll on your Facebook group or whatever. What are the three things that I can help you as a doctor, as a lawyer, as whoever you are? And then give them a option 3 4, and people will say, I want to answer, I want help with this or branding or marketing or content writing. Great. And then go live at 4 o'clock every day. I mean, you can look at your times based on how your audience reacts, but this is what I do. 11 o'clock I put a post, 4 o'clock I go live, and I answer questions for an hour live. So in 1 hour I've got about 10 questions that I've answered. I take those 10 questions, and that's 1 hour of content. I take that, put a nice topic to it, how to subject line, and then I post it on IGTV. I take that, I post it on YouTube. I break up the 10 questions into 6 minutes each and put it on all my different channels. And so I've got enough content for the whole day. If you want to go crazy and repurpose and all of that, so you can do that as well. So I told you one strategy which is nice and simple. Answer: make a Facebook community of only those people you want to serve. Very important. If you're a content writer and you're serving people with content, it's it's not a micro niche, it's a niche. But if you say content writing for digital marketing owners only, that is a micro niche. Now people would like to be part of that group because you will give them information that only they would subscribe to. So if you have a group like that and you have a YouTube channel like that saying digital market content writing only for digital marketers, maybe you'll have only 400 people who are your followers, but there are 400 agency owners who want solutions every single day. Take care of them for 1 year and you're in business.
I want to switch topics a little bit. So you've written two books, one that has particularly caught my eye, and I just want to make sure I got the title correctly. So Bedtime Stories for Tomorrow's Entrepreneurs. Oh, there, right there. What inspired you to write this book?
This is my favorite question. Thank you for asking that. So because I was spending so much time away from my daughters in Vancouver and I'm traveling back and forth. So this is a couple of years back, and I'm sitting on my couch and I'm a very guilty father. I never thought I'd be a father like that. My mom and dad were very involved in my growing up. So I'm like, I'm feeling guilty and I'm not feeling good about myself. My wife is like, don't worry about when you're not with the kids, but when you're with the kids, give them all your time. So I said, how do you do that? So she said, read bedtime stories to them and spend time with them. So I said, okay. So I would read bedtime stories to them, Joel, and they would go to sleep in 5 minutes. And my wife would say, well done. And I was like, no, this is not the idea. The idea was to have a 1 hour conversation, but they went to sleep. A marketer like me should have known that the story is about the audience and not about me. What's in it for them? I forgot. So I changed it. And my elder one is called Raya. My younger daughter is called Aviana. So I clubbed their names together and we made a company called Raviana. Now that company needed a business. So the business normally should be around your passion. The girl's passion at that time was around chocolates. So we said Raviana chocolates. So we started a company in our heads called Raviana Chocolates. So the everyday story revolved around that. Go to their work and they work. Sorry, did we get lost for a minute? Yeah. So they work in Raviana Chocolates, and every week they call their mentor, which is their dad, and they call the mentor and they ask him questions around the business. So why is the chocolate not nutty as much as it used to be last week? And all. So they're running a business. So Raviana Chocolates was the factory, and we started telling our friends and family about all of this, and this became, hey, this is a cool idea. And when everybody started saying it's a cool idea, we said, why not put a comic book around it, series? So we put a comic book series around it, bedtime stories for tomorrow's entrepreneur. We got a graphic writer. The girls wrote every chapter of the book, and they spoke at different schools in Canada. They became speakers. This September, one of my elder one is supposed to audition for TED Kids because of that, and yeah, so it allowed us to spend more time together, and we made a whooping profit of $550 on Amazon. And we bonded as a result. So that's how this venture came about.
I don't know how much you read, but is there any author that, um, and you can say Gary Vee, but is maybe there's somebody else who's really influenced you and whose book you really enjoy?
Robin Sharma. Robin Sharma by far. This guy, and he's got many books, but this is one of my favorites, the 5 a.m. Club. He calls it the 5 a.m. Club, but he talks about many other concepts here as well. And this guy is by far the East meets West kind of guy together. He's from India. He's lived his life abroad. He lives in Toronto, I think. And so I love what he says. I understand what he says from both angles. And he talks about like one thing that changed my company because of him 10 years back when I started my company. Around that time, I'd read his book and he said, PYNW, plan your next week. And those are many rituals he talks about, but that's just one ritual which I cannot live without. I cannot have my people in my company and my wife and my kids and all of us sit down together and say, we have no idea how the week is going to be. Well, if you want the week to be without a plan, that too is a plan, right? But have a plan. So this guy is amazing. Robin Sharma and he's got this event called the Titan Summit that happens in November every year in Toronto. I've never been able to go for it, and I hope someday I'll have the time and I'll be able to afford the very expensive tickets.
Well, Avi, thank you so much for being on the show. For people who want to learn more about you, reach out to you, where can they find you?
Joel, the pleasure is all mine. Instagram at Ask Avi Arya, AskAviArya is the best place to find me. And I just wanted to say that I've known you for such a long time, and I was really humbled and honored that you just started a new venture and you sent me that invitation. In the last 2 years, the Lord has been God, Lord, universe, whatever you call it, has been extremely kind and honored our hard work. And I've learned a few things about lots of things. I've made a lot of connections. And with any of those, if I can help you with anything in your business, I just want you to know that I'm only a phone call away for you.
Perfect. Thank you. And next time you're in Vancouver, let's get together and have some chocolate.
I was just going to say that. I said, when I tell my daughters about this, you're going to get an order from us very soon.
Very good. Well, take care, Avi, and see you soon. Bye.
100%. Thank you, Joel. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Publishing for Profit. Please like and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.